It's not like we have to take 2 weeks to run a full A/B test. It's definitely saved us a lot of time, helped us to be more nimble. And I will say it's also like bridged a gap between our web developers and our UX designers.
Hey folks, really excited for our podcast today with Alex Nelson. Cozy Earth initially started working with us a few years ago with our error monitoring product, but they've since added in our additional capabilities and consolidating multiple tools into Noibu. So really exciting conversation today. If you're under budget pressure to consolidate tools and you're interested to learn about how teams are driving efficiencies. Welcome to another episode of the e-commerce toolbox experts perspective. Joining us today, we have Alex Nelson from Cozy Earth. Welcome, Alex.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Alex, well, let's just start off with a brief introduction to who you are, a bit about Cozy Earth, and how we initially got synced up, I think, in 2022.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been on the Cozy Earth side for 5 years. I'm the director of digital product here at Cozy Earth. So I oversee the website and all things in that realm. You know, at Cozy Earth, we are primarily D2C. We sell like soft goods in the home. So bedding, bath, comforters, blankets. We also sell loungewear for men's and women's. So it's a fun space to be in. But yeah, I think just say 2022 is when we started. We've been with you guys for a while. Definitely been a journey for sure, but we've loved being partners.
Yeah. And Alex, obviously in preparation for the show, I took a look at a bit of your history, and you've had different roles in the business, from conversion specialist, marketing, to now digital product, and now leading the whole product organization for digital. So maybe talk to us a bit about why you initially purchased Noibu, and maybe how your needs changed over time and how you're able to collaborate with us to actually change our product to meet your needs.
You guys reached out to us initially, and it was just about bug detection on our website. At that time, we had a third-party dev agency that we were using to kind of build our site and go that route. So it was appealing to us because we didn't have as much visibility as to like bugs and things that were surfacing besides just if we like found them on the website. So we wanted to kind of get into that space so that I, as like a less technical side, had visibility into like bugs and like honestly the like revenue loss that we were seeing across the board. So that was what initially got us interested in Noibu. We jumped in and we felt that like our team had a little bit of like hesitancy to adopt the tool and work it into their workflow. But so we actually like went through that process, and it was like kind of like pulling teeth for a little bit. But once they started using the tool, they really liked it. So I think at one point we were even thinking about canceling the contract, but we stuck with it. And I'm really happy that we did, because we worked that into our workflow, and we've seen like that, the bug detection side has been awesome, but you guys have evolved significantly over the years. And so, I think that tool itself has gotten more robust, and I think that it's more user-friendly on the dev side, but also on my side as I'm like looking into issues and kind of seeing the general health of our website. But I've really liked the direction you guys are going, especially with like the page analysis tool and kind of like being able to understand different elements of our site that isn't just like, is there a bug and what can we do to fix it?
I love that framing. I think to your point, a lot of people initially sign on with us because they either do a migration, maybe they don't trust their third-party devs, or they're just like site stability is top of mind for them at that moment. And to your point, especially when you're on like a more templated framework, you kind of do a big bug bash. Maybe it's a few sprints, maybe it lasts a few months. Then people typically move on to performance, so like site speed. And we kind of see those like the two like bases of the pyramid. People want to like stabilize to make sure there's no like leakage. Next, they want to make it fast. And then on the back of that, they typically will deprioritize. Continuous, obviously, if a bug pops up or if you release something that slows down your website, you'll deal with it, but it's not something that you're working on every day. And especially with lean teams like yours, it's kind of like what you're saying, where you solve most of the bugs, you then go into kind of maintenance and insurance mode, same with performance. And then on the back of that, you're like, well, most of our time is now going to go into innovation. So it's going to go into A/B testing, looking at user flows, customer journeys, Heatmaps. So maybe talk to us a bit about, as your business has evolved, when did you guys kind of go from spending a lot of mind share on errors and performance and stability into, okay, now that we've gotten that done, we have to look to the experimentation side?
Yeah, it's definitely been an interesting journey, and honestly similar to what you just outlined there. So, like I said, we historically had a third-party dev agency, but in the last year we've transitioned so that we have a fully in-house dev agency. It's kind of followed a similar timeline because we went from like not having full visibility into like the site health, and like we definitely went through and like identified the biggest impacting bugs and got those figured out. But then with more of like I guess we have a pretty lean team, but they're pretty nimble and able to move quickly. And so we started to like add new features and things that we're really excited about. But I think the biggest caveat there is time. Like it takes time to build these things, but also takes time to test them. So we love to do A/B testing on our side, but it takes time to get enough data to feel confident in the results. So, as we've adjusted, okay, we want to ship more things and continue to make the site and experience better for the customer, you know, tools like a page analysis or heat mapping, session replays, being able to like understand on a bigger level what the customer experience is has helped us just inform our decisions quickly. So it's not like we have to take 2 weeks to run a full A/B test. It's like I can go in a day after we've shipped something, see what the heat maps look like, see is the engagement of the customer like we expected, and then we can look at like the funnel and see, okay, where are they clicking after this, follow that journey. It's definitely saved us a lot of time, helped us to be more nimble. And I will say it's also like bridged a gap between our web developers and our UX designers. They're both looking at the same heat maps, understanding the same data, and it's kind of helped like merge those two worlds for us.
If you're listening to the e-commerce toolbox, you're entitled to a podcast exclusive website audit. Go to noibu.com/podcast-audit for a free scan that uncovers the hidden friction blocking your conversions and shows you where you're leaking revenue.
Was that a challenge before where like maybe in a previous life, you're marketing, you're working on a campaign, it's not performing, you're like, okay, is it performance? Is it errors? Is it just user behavior? Is the product not resonating? Like, and then having to collaborate with different teams and different tools. Was that a tax of the past?
Yeah, for sure. And I think like one example, it's like with our PDP, right? It's one of the more complicated pieces of our website, but we build out like last year we did a little bit of a refresh on the PDP. We A/B tested it to see which one performed better. And it's like the new version didn't perform as well. And it's like, is that because the way it was built out is less performative? Is it because the user experience isn't, exactly what we had hoped and maybe the users aren't adopting it as much, So I think that, as we're going through a refresh right now, and as we're looking at these new elements, we're going in and seeing, okay, heat maps are showing this is what, we expect the user's behavior to look like. So now, if this isn't performative, we can take a step back and see, okay, like, is it because of the way we built it out? Is it, is the performance there? Is it the design? So it's definitely like helped round that whole experience for us because it is a frustrating like problem to tackle.
Makes sense. And now looking across the different teams, like how many different teams are now collaborating in Noibu in your organization now? And like, what did that look like 18 months ago?
Yeah, I would say that right now, like my team specifically, we have kind of like the UX side, the dev side, and then like kind of the website maintenance side. And all three of those teams are getting into Noibu and using it for various pieces, right? And I'm excited to get more of like our ad buying team and like our growth team to like see, okay, like these are the ads. So if you're sending ads to these landing pages, like this is the heat map of the landing page that you're sending to, and we can see like the performance of that landing page. So, getting some of these other teams informed in the tool is something that we're working on, but I think that they'll find a lot of benefit.
That's awesome. I think that makes sense. We typically land historically with like the engineering team, sometimes
Right.
product, like in your case, and then you expand, right? UI, UX with page analysis. And I think rightfully so, like you're flagging, getting marketing, singing from the same sheet, right? When it comes to user journeys and heat mapping and ad conversion and all those things. And eventually, depending on your type of business too, sometimes the customer support team depends on how many tickets are being flagged to your team. But those are kind of like the trifecta of use cases. Out of curiosity, I know you're very involved in our product roadmap. What has you most excited about our product roadmap?
I think that I hopped on a call with Sierra our account rep last week, and we talked through some of the new dashboards that you guys are coming out with. I don't know all the nuances of the tool, but it looks like there will be more of like a section that each of these use cases or each of these teams or departments can go for like key insights on the website. And it's not necessarily just like, oh, this is like a bug that we've noticed. It's like, here's your overall like site health and like a top level view. Like, is there anything going wrong? And then, you can dig in, double click into areas where you want to learn more. So I think that is like a intuitive way to organize it so that like each person knows that this is like curated for them. It's easy to use and like they're going to find insights that are actionable.
No, that's really cool. And we kind of went through this with you before, but I'll just reiterate this. Like we kind of started off in the front end error space, and then we went into the front end monitoring space, which includes things like performance monitoring, right? So like page speed, things like that. And the big push for us was page analysis last year, which put us in that like experience monitoring space, which is like heat maps, scroll maps, session replay, and then all the error and performance stuff. And now the big push for this year is more of what you just mentioned. How can Noibu be the dashboard of record for different teams, right? Whether that's your just conversion analytics, your error analytics, or your marketing, we are really, really investing in analytics, as you would put it, because we have yet to find someone who really loves Google Analytics. And from our research, it's one of those things, and I call it by name because I think it's an open secret, but like people find it very challenging in the commerce use case is what we kind of heard. And we think that the consolidation of those three categories into a single super tool is what the market is asking us for. That's what I'm here to talk about.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing to that. So specific on the page analysis tool, I know that's a newer tool on your end, but historically we've looked at a few different heat mapping tools. And that was like something that we were, planning to just have a separate service for, and then we were going to have the bug detection on the other side. But both are, looking at sessions. And so it makes sense to kind of consolidate those tools. But to your guys' to complement your team, like you guys built out a tool that was very intuitive to use. I've tried like 3 or 4 different heat mapping tools and with a lot of frustrations. And so I think that I've really enjoyed seeing that your team is not only trying to enter this space and kind of like own that space of like, okay, we're giving you your overall site health for all these different teams, but you're also worried about like the customer's experience and like how easy it is to intuitively use the tool, which definitely commend your team for that.
Appreciate it. And our kind of strategy along those lines is that we only build for commerce brands, and commerce brands are on a few platforms. They're on Shopify, they're on BigCommerce, they're on Salesforce, they're on Commerce Tools. Some people are still on Magento. Like that covers like 95% of the use cases, right? And we know your roles: product, engineering, UI, UX, marketing. Like there's not that many different permutations. And because we don't sell to SaaS companies, telecom, all these other things, we can be very intentional on how we build things. And everyone else in the space is horizontal, meaning they serve many masters. So they have to build it in like a everything for everyone kind of way. And that puts a lot of the onus on teams like of your size to actually instrument and figure out the tool. And there's larger adaptability gaps. So we really think the market is pretty fragmented in this space, where you're paying a lot of the same vendors to collect session data, session replay data, event data, error data, heat map data. Like everyone, you're paying multiple vendors to collect the same thing. Candidly.
Right.
So we think we can have the best tool purpose built for people in your role and in your industry at the best cost, because you don't have to pay 3 different vendors to collect a lot of the same data. So that's our bet.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely paying off because, and even just on like the site performance side, we have been in that realm where we have 3 or 4 different vendors that are all like trying to load their scripts to track our sessions and stuff, and like just getting it all done at once like makes the site experience better. Loads faster. It's like less cumbersome. So yeah, I think it's very smart what you guys are doing.
No, very, very cool. Well, it's been really cool because like we were chatting about before, you guys have been on a journey it's somewhat parallel to our journey. As your needs evolved, like our product kind of evolved to meet those needs, which was really cool. I mean, this wouldn't be a podcast if I didn't ask you a bit about AI. And actually, I want to give you our AI demo after. But I'm curious, like, as you're looking at digital product in this space, how do you think AI influences the space in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I've thought a lot about this, and like where will you effectively be able to implement AI and where it's going to. I think obviously there's on the like back end side of like understanding the analytics and the sessions and things like that. That's definitely like a use case. But I think on the front end, like what can you implement? How can you implement it on a site? It's like I think it's gonna be more of a one-to-one experience. You're gonna be able to track these sessions and understand like these touch points that maybe they came from an email, maybe they came from an ad, and like what were they engaging with, and like what is the specific thing that they're curious about, and then you almost build an entire site experience for that customer. But that's also to say like our site's even going to be relevant. Is it going to be all just like shopping through LLMs? Like I don't know what the future holds there, but I think that there's plenty of opportunity on like the shopping side, and then also like the post shopping, like digesting the analytics and all the metrics. And I think that AI is huge in that.
Do you guys have analytics centered around traffic coming from these LLMs and how they're performing?
Yeah, like we're trying to, I think we're, amongst the masses trying to figure it out. But like we're looking in GA4, understanding like where the main traffic from AI LLMs are coming from. And it's not like anything huge today. But then we also have like different tools that we're using to track, share of voice, like how are we showing up compared to our competitors, and for these different like our categories that we want, bedding, bath, loungewear, like how are the LLMs digesting our information, and what is the sentiment there? So definitely on that side, we're trying to figure out like, okay, what is the best way to report? Is it revenue? Is it, sentiment? What makes the most sense to look at?
Very cool. Awesome. Well, Alex, I really appreciate you taking the time to hop on. Did you have any additional questions before we sign off today?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, I really appreciate the time.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much.
The e-commerce toolbox Expert Perspectives is brought to you by Noibu. To find out more about Noibu and how we can help you debug your e-commerce site and rocket your revenue, visit www.noibu.com. That's NOIBU.com. And then make sure to search for the e-commerce toolbox Expert Perspectives on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else podcasts are found, and click subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at Noibu, thanks for listening.